You've all seen counters on pages. They are used all over the show. And I have one here. I'm going to reload the page so that you just can see how the counter will work. And it says 254M for million sets of furniture sold in 10 years. And it fits perfectly on this site of my furniture e-commerce shop that I've created. A little bit of animation, a little bit of bragging, and they call it at ElementsKit a fun fact. So it combines a counter with a lot of other additional elements like text and movement. And we're going to have a look at the fun fact element from ElementsKit. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and a good wherever you are. My name is JP. This is Websites for Beginners, where we bring content for the beginner, and we usually take things a little bit more slower and more in-depth so you can get a good understanding of how these things work to help you build out your website. We are looking at ElementsKit, which is an add-on for Elementor, and it's great if you use ElementsKit because it works pretty awesomely with the free version of Elementor, which means you can get away with a lot. Now, the fun fact widget for Elementor using the ElementsKit is, as I said, a counter. And let me just also refresh this page so that you can see the counter. That works by counting up, and it gives you a number, it gives you a fact, and it allows you to add a number, a letter, or some kind of symbol after or before. And then it also allows you to bring in icons, images, borders, really allows for all of this flexibility and customization. My 2 cents, and I usually cannot help by offering my opinion. If I look at some of these counters, really it is too long, how long it takes to count up. We have to always consider the speed at which people are moving on a mobile device when they are flicking through with their thumb. Anything that's going to take and load longer than half a second, a second maybe, but more than a second, you're going to lose that impact of the counter. I am not entirely sure if a counter is always a good idea. The animation, there's an argument that people are drawn to the animation. Again, I want to make the counter argument of mobile devices. So when you use the fun fact, just consider maybe not using the animation at all. It's great to put this fun facts out there to give people this information. And this is a great combined widget that brings in all these elements so that you have an image and an icon, and that you have a number, and that you have a little bit information about where that number comes from. If you do plan on using animation, keep it short. Really keep it short so that it makes a much bigger impact. None of us have the time to sit around and wait for a counter to count up. And we are not surprised by whatever is on the website. When last did you visit a website where a counter really blew your socks off? So don't do it on your websites because you are not impressed by other people who do it on their websites. Having said that, it is good to have these facts on your website, and that's why I do like this widget. Now, the widget, I believe, is also part, let's just go quickly to the top, of the free elements. So, fun fact over here, you get that with ElementsKit free version from the WordPress repository. That means that if you go into WordPress and you look for ElementsKit over here, and you go to the widgets section, that you will see the fun fact is turned on. By default, you don't need to do that, and you don't need to save anything. This is great because none of these things are sorted alphabetically. So every time I need to activate something, I need to sit here and read. What a waste of time. One thing that can be improved is for the developers to put these for us in alphabetical order so that I don't have to hunt around every time I want to activate or deactivate a specific element. Enough of that. Let's go into Elementor and we look for fun fact. And I'll just type here in the search widget area fun fact, and I just typed fun. And you see, interestingly enough, it gives me the Elementor counter. Fun fact is a counter plus extra steroids text. So I grab the fun fact and I drop it here below this text. And there the counting happens and it brings in an Amazon icon. Let's have a look. At the top, you're going to have an icon. You can choose between an icon, an image, or none. And if you're going to go for an icon, as usual, you can use from the icon library or upload an SVG. The first thing I'll do is go to styling where the icon is, and I'll just make it bigger. Otherwise, this becomes ridiculous. And then we have the margin bottom. This I really appreciate that they gave us this. This is the space between the fun fact, and the icon. I like it when people bring in these kind of controls so that I don't have to go and play around with margins or line height. Then you have padding. The padding is, again, just for the icon if you want to do that. And you can rotate it as well. Woo! Prime delivery. Let's change out the icon, and that we have to jump back to content. And I'll go to image. And from my library, I have this furniture image that I've brought in. And we're going to get this furniture. That looks pretty cool. If I go back to style, and now we have still icon, which is an image, you have margin bottom, but you can see we don't have control over the size of this image. For that, you'll have to go to content and then image resolution. So if you want it smaller and have to take control over custom, so let me type in there 100 and click on apply, then you will see it will make it and shrink it to the size you want. And that is everything that you can do under the icon. And this one on the right is if you want nothing. You select it and it will take away the icon. I think it's kind of cool. Let's go to the content. You have a prefix here. So if you want to show dollar, and why is it not showing dollar? Because it's just a placeholder. Once I type a $sign or an R for rand, which is the unit in South Africa, now it becomes millions in rand. And I'll just go ahead and delete it again. And then you have a suffix here. Currently, the suffix is million. Then the title, let's say furniture sets sold in the last 15 years, because that's quite a lot. And then we have enable super. And once I do that, you will see there's a little plus that appears at the top. It's a nice indicator of that it's more than what I've indicated here. So you can leave that separator and you can change it, and you see it's blue. So within styling, you can go and change the colors. Settings. This is everything about the speed. So currently your animation style is static. It counts up, but have a look. The sliding is pretty cool. It's going to slide those numbers. And I kind of like this one. It's not that gradual count up that we're all used to. So sliding, I'm going to keep it there. Now you see the animation duration, 3,500. And this means 3.5 seconds. Too long. So I'm going to go for 1,000. You're going to see that's pretty quick. But even that feels a little too long. So let's see if we can reduce it to 500. And it still feels to me as if the speed is not changing. But I'm going to put it at 500. I don't want people to scroll over this. The icon position. This is what I like on the left. This works for me. And then we have also on the right if you want to do that. But I'm going to drop it on the left. And you have a title HTML tag if you do need that. This is under H2. I've lately become quite, focused on where the HTML tags fall. In this case, I may just go and put it on a P. I think the bottom line of HTML tag is that if you have a H3, make sure it is grouped within a H2 and that H2 has the H1, which is usually the page title. Enable hover border bottom. Now, these are all little design elements that the team has added, and you will see there is that green line. We can change the color within styling. So once I enable it, you're going to see background. Is it background type? What is this? Once I enable it, the color appears here. Now, this is where Elementor, and I'm going to just do this for 20 seconds, sometimes freak me out. The styling is here. So every time I want to do something, I have to jump between content styling. And I think for us, that's the biggest gripe many of us have with Elementor, one of the biggest. But then you have third-party developers like ElementsKit that come and add it here. But this sometimes confuses me because now the border color is actually here within the content, which I like. I don't have to jump around unnecessary. But then for other things, I still need to go to styling. Anyway, that is just me complaining a little bit. What was this? Content? No, it was under settings. It's the hover border bottom color. And I'll put it on a different color just so you can see. Let's put it on red. And what this means is that when I hover over it, you will see the border makes this little animation. and the length of this border is determined by the container in which it is placed. And you can also have the hover direction if you want it to go to a different direction. Yeah, that's nice. And then you have a vertical border. So that is a little spacing on the left. You see that little blue line there? And then that's on the left, and it doesn't really change the border direction for me. These two, if you can find a use case for them, try them out. What is important though is going to the styling and then content. Currently, I want to put it to the left. You see, that is what I've done over there. And now our content looks like this. So let's just move to the icon, have a look at what we've going here. We've got this margin, and that is good if it is stacked. At this moment, it isn't stacked. And then you have all the other options. So for the content, we looked at it center aligned to the right and to the left. And then you have your number count. And all of this is about the colors, your fonts. And then you also have that super if you want to change the color for the super, make it red. And then if you want to apply that background color to the entire widget. With the content here, I just want to go back to content. Yeah, and I just disabled the super. It seems that the super made a little glitch there, and it still kept my number and this description here center aligned, which it shouldn't. So if that happens, just go to enable super under content and then disable it. And once you enable it, it should be fine. That's the kind of thing I was looking for. But now we want to make a little bit of a change. This text is way too close to that image. So we go to style. And we should find this under content. And then we have here spacing. This is typography. Let's see. That's the typography between the two. And then the right spacing is for your little afterthought. Then we have title spacing up and down. And then I think what we're going to do in this case is we're going to go to content margin. And then unlink everything and to the right or to the left. Yes, left. I told you my left and right is really messed up. We'll add a little bit of separation. That will be done here with the content margin. And to place a little bit of separation between this widget and our paragraph over here, I will go to advanced, then go to margin, unlink everything, and then at the top, I'll just add a little 10 pixels. There we've created that. Brilliant. And then, of course, remember to go and have a look on your other devices. This is going to be for tablet and then for mobile. I think they all look good on those responsive displays as well. That is the Funfact element for Elementor by ElementsKit. From me, JP here at Websites for Beginners. Have a lovely day.